Thank you for considering using the TFP Sperm Bank as part of your fertility journey. Selecting your donor for treatment can be a daunting task, and the TFP Bank has a dedicated donor bank team to help you through the process. This short video will walk you through what to expect from donor selection through to being matched with your donor and having your sample shipped to clinic. Prior to using donor sperm, you're welcome to have counselling with one of TFP's specially trained counsellors to discuss any questions you may have. These sessions can also highlight issues you may not have considered previously and allow you to make a fully informed decision. Should you wish to book a counselling session, please contact your TFP clinic directly to schedule this. The first step is reviewing our donor catalogue. Each donor profile includes physical characteristics, treatment suitability, and screening requirements, as well as a personal statement written by the donors themselves. Patient selection criteria for donors varies greatly from person to person, so what's suitable for someone else might not be suitable for you. It is important that you select a donor suitable for your intended treatment type, and the TFP donors are split into two categories. All treatments donors, who can be used for IUI or IVF treatments, and ICSI donors, who can only be used for treatment cycles in which an egg collection is taking place. Should your intended treatment be IVF, but you wish to select an ICSI-only donor, you can do so, and TFP will conduct the ICSI procedure for no additional charge. You cannot use an ICSI donor for IUI. We have strict criteria for donor acceptance, and all of TFP's donors are rigorously screened prior to acceptance. Donors must complete medical and genetic questionnaires detailing their own and their family's medical history before an extensive list of blood tests are performed. As well as the mandatory tests set out by our governing body, TFP also goes above and beyond requirements and screens all donors for recessive genetic conditions. You will note that all donors in the catalogue are listed as either carriers or non-carriers. Over 80% of the population are carriers of at least one recessive condition, and most people will not be aware of their carrier status without being tested. Recessive conditions only result when two copies of the gene are present, one from the egg provider and one from the sperm provider. Therefore, if you select a donor who's a carrier, TFP make it a mandatory requirement that you are screened for the conditions that your donor carries to ensure you do not also carry the same condition. The test is conducted via blood test and sent to the genetics lab for testing, with initial results taking 4 to 6 weeks to be returned to us. While this may seem like a significant length of time, the purpose is ultimately to reduce the impact of lifelong and life-limiting conditions on children resulting from treatment. If you're found to be a carrier of the same condition as your chosen donor, you will not be able to proceed with that donor and will be asked to select another. Should you select a second donor who is also a carrier, you will be required to be cross-matched against the conditions they carry. Subsequent tests do not usually require additional blood draws and are usually returned to us more quickly. If you do not wish to have carrier screening, you must select a donor who is a non-carrier. If you would like further information on recessive carrier screening or the tests conducted, please reach out to the donor bank team directly. Genetic counselling is also available from the test provider upon request to the donor bank team. Another factor to consider when making your choice is CMV status. CMV is a very common flu-like virus. If you've been exposed to CMV previously, you'll have detectable antibodies that remain in your system for life. You may or may not know your CMV status at this stage, which can either be positive, indicating you've had CMV in the past, or negative, showing that you haven't. While CMV is not usually dangerous, there's a small chance it can cause issues if contracted for the first time during early pregnancy. Therefore, we recommend if you're CMV negative, you choose a donor who's also CMV negative to avoid the chance of transmission. If you're CMV positive, you can select a donor who is either CMV positive or negative. If you don't know your CMV status and wish to be tested, please contact your team in clinic for an appointment availability and pricing. Given the risk of transmission is extremely low, you also have the option to sign a CMV disclaimer, which allows you to select any donor regardless of CMV status. For more information on CMV, please contact the donor bank team or your TFP clinic directly. Once you've made your choice, you'll inform the donor bank team who will send you the necessary paperwork for completion to secure your donor. On this paperwork, you must confirm your donor details are correct, as well as advising of your intended treatment type and the number of samples you wish to purchase. You will need 1 sample per treatment cycle, regardless of treatment type. And should you wish to purchase additional samples to reduce wait times for shipping between cycles, you can order up to 3 samples at any one time. Only upon receipt of the completed paperwork is your donor secured. If you've selected a CMV positive donor but do not know your CMV status, you will automatically be sent the CMV disclaimer should you wish to complete this. If you have selected a donor who's a carrier, you will also be sent TFP's consent to carrier screening form for completion, and someone from your local TFP clinic will be in touch to arrange your test appointment upon receipt of the completed forms. Payment for your sample is not due until it's confirmed whether you're able to use your chosen donor for treatment. If you've selected a donor who's a non-carrier and do not require screening, you can proceed straight to payment for the sample for shipment to go ahead. If you've selected a donor who is a carrier, you must wait for the results of your matching test to be returned to confirm that you can use your donor prior to shipment being arranged. Results of these tests are usually available within 4 to 6 weeks from testing. While you don't need to pay for your treatment cost in full at this stage, you do need to settle the balance for your chosen number of samples as a minimum before shipment can be authorised. If you have opted for a treatment package that includes donor sperm, the cost of your donor sperm paid prior to shipping is then deducted from your remaining balance, which can be paid closer to your treatment starting. Depending on your TFP clinic location, shipment of your samples usually takes place within 3 weeks. Once you've been matched with a TFP sperm donor, you're able to purchase additional samples for further treatment cycles or for sibling use until stocks of that donor run out. Each donor has been allocated to a maximum of 10 families, so it's important to note that the supply of samples for each donor is not indefinite and allocated on a first-come, first-served basis. While we do our best to keep a stock of sperm for future treatment and for sibling use, the only way to guarantee availability of your chosen donor for future use is to purchase in advance. We hope this video has been informative and answered some of the questions you may have had going into the process. Should you have any additional questions, please feel free to contact the donor bank team at any stage via the email address listed below. Thank you for taking the time to learn about how our donor bank works. We are honoured to support you in this important step, and we are here whenever you're ready to move forward.